designer for the project, the, the architect that did the drawings for it, was a Japanese architect. And as you may realize, that the Japanese have always been famous for the Japanese gardens, and water has always been a big item on their agenda, water projects. This, of course, is one of them. So that's the Japanese influence. When I saw the plans, I realized it's not a Mickey Mouse job. It was very, very technical. As a matter of fact, I think this job was going to be given to another superintendent. And when they took a look at the plans, a serious look, they figured I was perhaps better qualified for it. And George Tanaka, he was very instrumental in giving me the idea of what he wanted. When I started building this job, he was very critical, and I was starting to get a bit annoyed. And he picked up on it very quickly. So he asked me out to lunch one day, and I said okay, and I set my crew up to work, and he took a couple of hours, and he explained everything to me. And it was probably the most educational aspect of my whole career that I'd ever had. He was phenomenal. And he told me more about rocks than I ever dreamt about. When I started back at work again, he was round every day to inspect the work that I was doing. And about the second day after I had this discussion with him, second or third day, he came to me and he said, you won't be seeing me much anymore. And I thought maybe he wasn't well. I said, are you okay? Is everything all right? He said, everything's just fine. But he said, I think you have accepted the feeling that I'm looking for, that I can see it in your work now. So I'm going to leave you alone on it, and I'll check it once in a while, and we'll take it from there. So I literally built the rest of the job basically on my own, from his plans, mind you, but the plans were very intricate and detailed. But as you know, you can't go out and buy a rock which is on the plans, the shape, the size, the dimensions, everything else. You have to find it. Well, that's not possible. So you find what you think is appropriate. It was all what they call weathered limestone. They call it moss rock now, different. But anyway, it's limestone rock, but it's limestone rocks which have come to the surface over millions of years and have weathered, which gives you the holy nature of them, the rough nature, and that's the beautiful part of the rock. The beginning of the project, in where you're going to get these rocks, how you're going to get them, that became what this project is the materials. And my wife and I, we used to always go to Campbellville for a little restaurant we liked there, and I knew that there was a good source of these rocks there. So started to make deals with the farmers, and then we took some equipment in and started to dig up these rocks. And that's a tremendous job on its own, because you see a rock sticking out of the surface, you have no idea. It's like an iceberg, you know. Sometimes 9/10 are underground. And we had our own machinery for that. We had a forklift, and because some of them wouldn't want to move at all, and some just came right out. So there was all different shapes and sizes. All the time you dug a rock out, you had to think, where are you going to put it? Where's it going to fit in this project? It's what we always call in the industry, if you're going to do a project of any description, the first thing you have to do is picture the finished project. That is so important, because then if you can see the finished product, you can build towards it. But if you don't, you're just building where the sky is the limit. You can't do that. So that was one of the things that I was lucky that was a forte of mine, I suppose. One of the hardest things about the whole project is finding the rocks, knowing what rock to haul into the site, and knowing which one you're going to use where. When we finished the job, we used every single rock, and we didn't have to send away for more. And we ended up, I think this project has 400 to 500 tons of rocks. When a problem comes up, you don't hang around, you solve it. I can't think of a problem because if you look at the project, you tell me if you see a problem there. I don't know, because there were thousands of problems, but as each one comes up, you solve it. Always when you do a project like this, you're doing the guts all the time, the heavy stuff, the big stuff, and then you do the finishing. And sometimes the finishing is the pain. That's where you've got to satisfy the architect, yourself, the public. Everything has got to be ready for show.